Today's topic centers on the two basic questions I get all the time as a financial aid counselor. Can I get financial aid? And what types of financial aid can I get? The first being high school students, and I consider that a general population. I usually interact with this population in the fall. They're mostly seniors, but they could include underclassmen as well. I'm invited to visit area high schools to present on financial aid in the college level and just paying for college in general, and also reviewing how to complete the free application for federal student aid or FAFSA. These students might have some or no knowledge about this process. Some are required to attend this event for a high school class, and some are attending just because they want to and they want to learn the information. Some of them might have assumptions about the material and they might not even know where to begin. The second population would be prospective students. So this is a more specific population. This is a group of students who are indicating interest in Ohio State. Specifically, they're visiting campus, and that's where they're meeting with me or hearing me speak and share. I have several different opportunities to interact with these students at Ohio State. That could include campus visit day, admitted student day, or like a one-on-one appointment with a student or their family. Like this general population, they might have some or no knowledge about the financial aid process. I usually don't figure out where they are on that spectrum unless we're meeting one on one. So, asset number one. This is an infographic covering basic student aid eligibility. It's from studentaid.gov. It's a federal website that serves as an educational platform about all things financial aid. It's also a portal for current and former college students to log in and view their loan balances or complete any online paperwork. So I'm going to show you the entire asset over these next few slides via screenshot. The infographic uses a flowchart format with kind of a road graphic to kind of guide it through the entire thing. This specific principles of multimedia that are important in this graphic would be the segmenting principle. Students can scroll through the material at their own pace and they're following sort of this road rather than being hit with everything all at once. And also the coherence principle. The images used are relevant to the text and they can help increase learner understanding. So you see like the image of the social security card, or here, you see like the green card. So just to review this asset, I do want to kind of go over a few pros and cons. So pros would include the asset's adherence to the multimedia principles, specifically segmenting and coherence. The visuals of this asset do help guide the learner's eyes down the road to learn the basic eligibility requirements of receiving aid. The language used is simple and conversational, and there's also a text-only version available. So now to look at the cons. I would include as a con the overall length. When you first open it, it is kind of difficult to see. When I first opened it on my computer, I had to scale and zoom in to make sure I could read the text correctly. It is also text heavy at the end. Again, that's a small issue, but if the goal is just to kind of give students some quick bulleted information, the end does kind of include a little bit more information than they might need in this situation. Finally, I do want to also say that though I'm really familiar with studentaid.gov, and I think a lot of students are aware that the website exists, the page hosting this specific infographic required some pretty specific navigation that I was familiar with because I am on this website every day for my job. But a beginning student or their family might not be that familiar with navigating it and might find it hard to find this infographic. And I also just want to mention that there are no other languages offered that I could find on this site. So let's look at asset 2 here. This asset is also from studentaid.gov. So this is a video, and I'm going to again show you just a couple of screenshots here from the video. This video has animated content as well as narration. This asset does also follow kind of a path style. The central stick figure walks down a road, so you see the bridge there. I would say this asset makes really good use of both the personalization and the voice principles of multimedia. The narration is a human voice. It's reasonably paced, and it's easy to understand language. It does also break down abbreviations, so you see that here on this slide. It does tell you what they're talking about when they use the term FAFSA, which is pretty unfamiliar for some folks. I would say that it is a little bit weak regarding the redundancy principle. It uses a lot of on-screen text, which you see here. This last shot of the video here does include what I presume to be tile links to other videos. But when I went to click on them, they don't work. It doesn't go to anything. Additionally, since this video is embedded on a web page, I tried to click view full screen and it would not let me do that. It was not available as an option. So that might present an accessibility issue for students. Another accessibility issue is that the video only is available in English. There are closed captions available in both English and Spanish, but that's a kind of a standard YouTube feature since this video is hosted through YouTube, so I'm not sure if that additional captioning was added by studentaid.gov or by YouTube itself. So looking at the pros and cons here, it does generally adhere to the multimedia design principles, specifically talking about the personalization and the vocal principle. It uses appropriately paced language and it's easy to understand. On the con side of things, again, just the links at the end don't work. These cons are largely related to the website itself, not the asset, but it is, I think, relevant in this case. The image contrast is low in some places, as you saw, so it does make it a little bit harder to see. And similar to the infographic, the host web page might be difficult to locate. And then also, like I said, no other languages are offered verbally, though there is Spanish and closed captioning, and there is no transcript option available. I wanted to note that as well. I want to conclude this presentation with a few general thoughts and some recommendations for these two assets. My main critique is about student aid itself and not the assets. The website is rich with resources, but in this case, it might be too much of a good thing and lead to oversaturation and confusion of the learner just trying to learn the basics. So if they're trying to find these resources on studentaid.gov, they might struggle and might give up before they actually find it. And these are really great resources, so I don't want to see that happen. I'd also consider offering additional languages, both written and spoken, since this is being offered on a national platform. And some students, and most likely their parents, might not speak English primarily in their home. So having other languages out there might be a good possibility. And then also, just again, kind of with an accessibility, just adjusting the clarity and the contrast. It is difficult to read. This is more specifically towards the video. Again, with the video, I'd consider removing some text in accordance with the redundancy principle. Sometimes the text on the screen didn't really serve to add to what was being said in the narration, it just kind of cluttered it up. And then also just fixing the hyperlinks. Again, this is at the end of the video. I think they need to be repaired or removed to avoid confusion for the learner. Overall, these are two really great assets that are effective for the target learners and for the topic at hand. I personally have used both of these assets in my own work as a financial aid counselor. They're relatively short, easy to understand, and they introduce what might be an intimidating or a stressful topic in a clear and concise way.